James Hawkins, Jr. of the City of Orange Township. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me again.
You're actually switching your budget cycle. You're going to be on a calendar year budget. Give us an idea as to why you wanted to do that, and then we'll get into some of the specifics as to what that means financially for you as a municipality.
Right. Well, one of the reasons we wanted to do it was so that it'd be easier for the residents to follow along with what we were doing and understand truly what our budget cycle is about. And in doing so, it's been able to allow us to capture some of the state aid that we're so fortunate enough to get in the beginning portion of our year to help us reduce that budget. As a matter of process, we were on a fiscal year, which kind of started in July forward, which meant we had to develop what we consider or call a transitional year budget from that point up until the end of December. And in doing so, for the first time, actually, I believe in over a decade in the city of Orange, in the worst economy since the Great Depression, we've been able to get a 0% tax increase.
So let's focus on what that means actually going forward. Now that you transition into a calendar year budget, what does that mean for this first time that you're doing it? Does that mean that you actually had a 6-month budget and that you transition into a new budget cycle?
Yes. Had we not made the change, from July 1 of 2011 through the end of June would have been the full fiscal year. However, because we shifted from the fiscal year to the calendar year, we needed a bridge, if you will, which is our transitional budget, which followed July 1 through the end of December of 2011. So starting now, the beginning of January, we are in a new fiscal cycle, and we're hoping to finalize that budget again with a 0% increase, but we still have some things to work on in order to accomplish that.
Let's focus on the 0% increase, because in this challenging economy that can be difficult for municipalities to achieve. You do work under a 2% budget cap mandated by the state of New Jersey, but how do you actually achieve a 0% increase?
Right. Well, there is no one thing that's a panacea to stopping tax increases. It's a variety of things working together, and I've been very fortunate that my administrative team and our state, federal, and county partners have helped us do this. We've been able to get millions of dollars in grants to hire employees back to work, or additional employees. We've been fortunate that even after layoffs, we were able to get negotiated concessions from our unions that saved us hundreds of thousands of dollars so that we could rehire them and bring them back to work, promote them to the previous ranks. So all these things working together, whether it's negotiated concessions to the unions, whether it's grant money, whether it's the lobbying that we did in Trenton, supporting some of the toolbox measures that the governor proposed to actually increase contributions to health care benefits and pension contributions, etc., that increase maybe 14 to 22% respectively over the last year or so. We've been able to control costs. So all these things working in tandem with each other allowed us to do the 0% tax increase.
But what does this actually mean going forward? Now that these changes, some of these changes have been implemented at this point, can additional changes be implemented moving forward to keep you at this level?
Sure, certainly. And that's some of the things that we have to continue to work on. Many of the things that we've done were short-term fixes, and some were long-term fixes. Many of the negotiated concessions that we got from unions are still in place now in the new fiscal year. For example, several of the police supervisors or even fire supervisors that were re-promoted to their ranks are foregoing that salary increase for several months into this new fiscal year. Some of them gave up sick time or vacation time, negotiated work rule concessions that will give us an ongoing savings. We actually worked with the federal government through our congressional representatives and got a $1.3 million, or maybe even more than that, to cover the cost of 12 firemen for the next 3 years fully funded. So a lot of these things are also long-term savings that will help us in the new fiscal year.
And we just have a few seconds left, but what about UEZ or Urban Enterprise Zone? Where does that stand at this point?
Well, the Urban Enterprise Zone still exists. However, the state has decided to recapture those dollars. So in an effort to fix the state budget, the governor has reallocated those funds to the state budget, and to the detriment of the local residents.
Does that have an impact on your budget?
Oh, certainly, because that is actually what sent us into the tailspin initially. The governor's cuts initially caused a $3 million increase in our budget, which was a 10% cut that we had to make in services.
Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
We've been talking with Mayor Hawkins.